championship, Princeton 96.
Princeton followed their third championship in the 90s with an undefeated season, and using Coach Bill Tierney's determination to repeat history, shocked Duke's star-studded defense in the semis with 3 late goals, using clutch plays like Hesta Massey and big-time goaltending from Patrick Cairns to keep the Tigers rolling. Most thought unseeded Maryland didn't have a prayer to reach the finals, but Coach Dickie Dell believed in his team and used the winning formula of Whipple to Hahn to upset 2 of the top 3 seeds. With Virginia and Syracuse gone, the record crowd at Maryland sensed that something special was happening.
National championships next, baby. Yeah, done.
You're looking at the crowd pouring into Byrd Stadium in College Park, Maryland. A great crowd expected for the best in college lacrosse. ESPN presents Division I Finals. The Maryland Terrapins, unseeded, taking on the defending champion Princeton Tigers. Hi, everybody. Leif Elsmo all set to bring you the action, along with Quint Kesnick, 4-time All-American. Quint was here in 1987. He knows the pressures these teams are under, and what a great matchup. The defending champions from Princeton against an unseeded team from Maryland.
Princeton has won 27 straight ball games. Maryland, no one thought they'd be here. Everyone wrote them off in April. They've won 5 straight. They are the Cinderella story.
All right, let's take a look at the road to these finals. Princeton, a predictable road. They had a bye in the first round as a #1 seed. Then they played UMass to a game that was a little tighter than most thought. Then they were really tested by Duke. Meanwhile, Maryland, they had to beat 2 of the top 3 seeds, Virginia and Syracuse, to get here. They are used to looking at big, tough offenses, and they'll see one today.
Yeah, they will. They're going to be faced with the junior trio from Princeton. It's Massey, Hubbard, and Hess. And look at those numbers. They score like it's going out of style. Really, in playoff games, especially, Massey and Hubbard have been extremely tough. This is Massey scoring on a backdoor against Duke. He's a slasher, a dodger, excellent left-handed finisher, does not miss much. And Hubbard, he's got a righty cannon, and he's added to his arsenal with some dodging. Last year, predominantly a shooter. Now he can go to the cage for himself. And Hess, the quarterback, the distributor, but if you give him an open shot in front, he's going to finish.
And Maryland will really bring it to you on the defensive end of the field. They're big and tough.
They've got Lamy, LaChapelle, Reese, and Bonanni. A lot of height at 6'5", 6'4", excellent range, and they like to throw the lumber. LaChapelle matching up against Casey Powell. They get the ball on the ground, and then they go with it in transition. This is Lamy, 6'5", transfer from Penn State. Tough to go around. Look at that stick in the numbers. Tremendous defense. And Bonanni, he's the slide man, delivering the hits. Likes the knockout punch. You go to that cage against Maryland, you're going to get dumped. And when you do get dumped, they got the transition game with Reese, the long stick, one of the most underrated players in the country, with a goal.
Now our face-to-face, our Nike face-to-face, will feature the guys who set up the possession time. The face-off men, Mitchell for Princeton, and of course Haggerty from Maryland, will be critical today.
Yeah, both players around 60%. The key, I think, is Princeton has Kramer, who will come off the bench to give Mitchell a little rest. Haggerty, he'll take about 95% of the face-offs, so look for maybe Maryland to tire in that regard in the second half.
Well, it's not hot and humid like the semis. It's a cool, great day to play lacrosse. Quint and I will be back with the opening face-off in just a moment. You're looking at a great crowd coming into Byrd Stadium in College Park. All the records have been set here for NCAA college lacrosse, and today might be another. NCAA Division I Lacrosse Championships are brought to you by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. Well, it was raining earlier, but the rain has abated. It looks like a sensational day as the crowd pours in. 57 degrees. Nobody will be wasted by heat and humidity. Light rain, but that is gone. I think we'll be dry for the rest of the game, and that will be critical. 4.5 inches fell on this field overnight, but Quint, it was covered, and the surface looks excellent.
The surface looks fast. That, I think, will help Maryland. The speed of the Terrapins. That's one advantage they have over this undefeated Princeton Tiger squad.
What an interesting matchup as we look at Keenan. This could be one of the real critical areas. Keenan, look at the saves here against Syracuse.
He struggled early in the first half with only 1 save, and that was in the semifinals. Played a solid fourth quarter with 4 saves. If you're a Maryland fan, you've got to hope that he took some of that momentum into this ballgame. And that's Pat Cairns, 36-3 as a starter at Princeton. Made 11 saves against Duke as he shut down the Duke Blue Devils in the fourth quarter.
These guys are both excellent goaltenders, but nobody is that far ahead of the crowd of goaltenders here that the defenses aren't a little bit worried about the shot selection. They want to keep the shots low on either end of the field. Maryland leads the series 22-8-1. but in recent history, it hasn't been the case.
That's going to be the key to this game is going to be ball possession. Both of these teams are based on ball control. They need to keep the ball away from their defensive end.
Our Nike matchup is Haggerty against Mitchell. Mitchell gets it on the quick jump by Haggerty. It'll be Princeton with the first possession. Both teams, you'll see, work the perimeter, really stretch the defense. And each defense has an interesting style of covering up on slides. We'll talk about that later as we get into it. Maryland comes at you hard. It's like a knockout punch when they slide. Princeton dissects you. They have 3, 4, 5 slides and make it very difficult to get it to the inside.
You'll see a lot of patience by this Princeton offense. They work the ball around. They'll try to target 1 or 2 matchups. They do a nice job of spreading the field so that when they do defeat you one-on-one, they can find the open man easily.
This is the #1 unit in midfield. Eichelberger has the ball. He is an ex-attackman on the far side. They're going to strap up his helmet. That's all. They'll let him go again. Lawrence Smith, 43, is up top. Big, long, rangy guy, 6'5". And then the basketball player, Jason Ozier, on the far side. This is Eichelberger looking to draw. Smith inside, got a player, Hubbard. Quick release, and Keenan makes a big block. Tremendous save by Keenan early on. Hubbard was in the spot he wanted for the right-handed cannon, and here comes Reese.
Super play by Princeton right there, freeing up Hubbard on the double screen. He loops around the screen, but Keenan, standing his ground, took that one off the hip.
Keenan got right there. Hubbard didn't have great location on that shot. He can ping the corners, but 5'7" is all Keenan is, and he hit him right in the chest.
Keenan only a freshman. Essential that you make that first save.
Maryland now with their first possession. They'll take their time down here. Osberg has the ball. He's a short stick defender on the midfield, and he's playing against Eichelberger. They'll try to tire Eichelberger out. Really an attackman playing midfield. They want the matchup, the short stick defense of Eichelberger. Watch the slide coming. Here comes Beckett Wolf. All over him as he tries to get the ball. Can't from Osberg. They'll try to move 2 spots and finally do to Rayton. Rayton looks back toward a Whipple. Up front, oh, they couldn't quite find Hogstead. Good check from behind. That's what Princeton will do, Quint. You get the slashing midi coming down. Princeton covers better than anybody in Division I.
They are very quick to rotate towards the ball. They support each other so well. If you're Maryland, you've got to make the second and third pass and find that open player on the backside. Princeton tends to really slide and rotate towards the ball very hard.
Watch up front. Hogstead takes a shot, but 2 Princeton players get wood in his face. And again, Maryland has had a chance to get a shot, but really hasn't put one on Carnes yet. And Cairns has really benefited from this kind of defense for Princeton over the years.
Princeton does a fabulous job of protecting the middle of the field, giving up the outside shot.
Big move by Hogstead in close. He was in the crease. They'll go ahead and give the possession to Princeton, and Cairns comes up huge.
2 ex-high school teammates at a boys' Latin school in Baltimore going head-to-head right there. Hogstead had the penetration, but Cairns held his ground. Made the big save.
And Q, interesting matchups for the defense of Maryland. We talked about that over the course of the semis till now, and you and I both knew they had a little bit of a problem with Bonanni, who's a slide guy. Where do you put him? He really helps out on slides. They've got him on Hubbard, and he'll be looking to help everybody out.
Yeah, anytime Bonanni leaves Hubbard, Princeton is going to try to jam the ball inside to Jesse for the inside shot.
Big rocket shot by Josh Sims. Not much possession time, and I don't think Tierney wants to give it up that quickly. Check, the ball goes down, and Hogstead.
Josh Sims is going to be called for a slash right there against Reese. This is the slide package. This is what we're talking about, the rotating defense. This is Maryland, how they're helping out. That Shirk with the slide, number 37.
They come hard, they come with a knockout punch.
And this is a Princeton rotating defense.
We'll show that to you in a moment. Right now, it's Maryland with the ball. This is the first extra man. It was a slash call on Reese as he brought the ball upfield with great speed. This has not been one of the real great points of the offense for Maryland, who has a great offense coming into these finals, but their extra man has been pretty horrible. 1 of 7 against Syracuse. Fast break with Hess. Hess up there looking for help to the backside. Hess will shoot, and he misses the goal. Behind him is Buttles backing up the play, and Buttles keeps it in Princeton's end, but they had a chance there to really put pressure on Keenan.
Jesse Hubbard made an exceptional play at the midfield line, coming up with that ground ball, and then finding Hess on the backside all alone.
So now Lamy will put the pressure on Hess as they put it out to the wing. Hubbard on Bonanni.
Maryland still has an extra man here. That's why they're double teaming the ball.
And Eichelberg will look for help. The double team comes very carefully. And now, off of the field is Massey from the box as they get set to go back to even strength. Still 5 players. Still waiting for the time to wind down. LaChapelle on Massey. Massey can really hurt you. Works with Hess beautifully. Big check goes down by the Czechs of Maryland. Tough checking by Burnham.
Burnham picked his pocket.
Hubbard with a big check. Watch out, Q, because they're coming down. Hubbard's got a great cannon. Takes the left-handed shot. Goes wide with it. And the ball stays with Princeton because Massey had the backup. Teams at even strength now.
When you're playing Princeton, you have got to handle from the defensive end to the offensive end because they like to possess the ball for such long periods of time.
No score yet. Lawrence Smith takes that one, and Keenan chasing it back. He's getting ragged by Hubbard. It'll go upfield as Maryland tries to get the ball from Bonanni to the midfield. And they do. Burnham gets whacked at midfield by Smith. And Smith picks it up again. A fast break. Hubbard wide open. Hubbard will come down and try and get open. He can't beat Keenan. Hubbard cannot get it past Keenan, who is having the best quarter of these playoffs. And here comes Maryland. 5 minutes into the game, no score. Lee Felsmo, Quinn Kesnick with ESPN's coverage of Division I lacrosse.
Unbelievable saves by Sean Keenan. Maryland struggling on their clears, going from defense to offense. Keenan has bailed them out 3 times.
Princeton really normally will can at least 2 of those. They have really had a tough time getting it past Sean Keenan.
Talked about Princeton wanting to control the ball. Maryland has a similar offense. They'll spin it around, looking for the right matchup.
Ryan Zeller was a big surprise against Syracuse, a young kid, number 10. He gives it up to Hilgartner. Hilgartner, a leader on the Maryland team. Play and attack, now working out of the midfield. He's got a short stick matchup. They want to take it to the cooker. Double team. Beckett Wolf comes in and really makes it tough for him. Zeller gives it back to Hilgartner, who resets. They try to get it through the crease, and Princeton does not let you do that. They are so good at closing down the passing lanes.
They rotate, and then they recuperate. They get back to their spots. So unless you capitalize on their aggression early, it's not going to be there. That 5 or 6 seconds that you waste trying to find your open teammate will come back to haunt you.
Katz brings it upfield. Here's Luckenheimer, and finally gets down to Hess. Now he will settle the ball a little bit. Lamey. Big size disadvantage here for Hess, but he has really proven to be the quarterback of the offense, has faced every challenge over the last 3 years. All juniors on the attack for Princeton, writing the history books for offense for the Princeton Tigers. 8:30 left first quarter, still no score.
Lamey likes to throw some serious wood, but Hess is an elusive target, extremely quick. He can stop on a dime and change directions, which should keep Lamey off of his hands.
And it's Hubbard again. Hubbard takes one, and Keenan stones him again. Coach Dickie Dell is absolutely giddy, I'm sure, on the sidelines because Keenan is coming up huge. He had to have it today.
He's coming up huge. That's the good news. The bad news is it's still 0-0. Their offense really hasn't put many quality shots in the Princeton goal.
Princeton looking for possession time. They will wear you out offensively. They keep the ball for long stretches and can hit you from so many different angles. Room's up top, but this is Hess coming on the far side off the shoulder pad of goalie Keenan, who looks very comfortable back there. We watched him the 3 games coming up to here, Quentin. He looks more comfortable today than any game so far.
Shorty Keenan, he's only 5'7", and that's with his cleats on. Look at the numbers over the last 5 games. Rutgers, excellent game, 86%, but since then he's decreased, he's declined. Against Syracuse, hit an all-time low of 32% save percentage, which is really not very good.
Big shot again, it goes wide, and this one taken well out front by Craig Katz. Against Syracuse, Keenan, who has looked absolutely sensational in this game, had 8 shots on goal in the first half, only saved 1. Hess behind with Lammy. Lammy slips, Hess working inside. Watch the slide. Big move by Hess. It started with the slip on the turf by Chris Lamey. Lamey just lost his footing. Hess recognized it right away and went right to the cooker.
He is such a quick little cat back there. One mistake, and he'll take you to the net, and that's what he did. Goal number 24 on the season. The Ivy League Player of the Year. You'll see Lamey just takes a false step and slips, and Hess doesn't waste any time. He takes him right to the cage.
Nice high fake and then goes low.
Yeah, tiptoeing around the crease. And there's Bonanni. You saw Bonanni fly through the screen late.
First goal of the game, 1-0 Princeton leads, and it took 7.5 minutes to get to that. We knew both of these teams would be careful with possessions, and they are doing just that. Princeton now getting a little bit loose. Hubbard with Bonani against him. This is Eichelberger with Reese, the long pole with great speed. Blink talks about that, and they do. They've got Miller and Reese, a lot of guys in the midfield that can just beat you downfield.
They've got to get the ball on the ground, though, to utilize that speed. That speed will not be apparent if they're here playing defense in a half-field situation.
Lawrence Smith takes the ball out front. This team of Princeton's offense kept the ball for 4 minutes against Duke when the game was on the line. They can hold it for long periods of time. Here comes the great defensive checks of Maryland. Lawrence Smith, an attackman who will be an attackman his senior year, can't beat out this trio working from the midfield. Jason Ogier inch close to Smith. He puts it home. Rope for Smith, 2-0. Princeton now starting to get the defense unrattled.
Ogier to Smith. Maryland got the ball on the ground, and you'll see, we talked about the slide, the rotation. Osberg's got good defense, but Reese double teams, leaving Smith open in front. Beautiful low shot. Here it is again. Watch it. Osberg was in fine position. There's no reason to rotate defensively there. Why go? Your man's doing a good job. Keenan cannot make the save against Smith.
Reese had about a 5-yard slide there, leaving a lot of room open, and Princeton will make you pay for that. Facing off is Kramer inside. This is the two-headed dragon of face-off men. Mitchell goes 2 times in the rotation, and then Kramer comes in. Both are about 60%.
And they've won all 3 face-offs. The first on a technical violation by Haggerty, and then the second and third both popped cleanly by by Kramer and Mitchell.
Lamy now worried about the footing a little bit as Hess takes it back, works the perimeter again. Midfield coming in. Barrier now gets to the wing. This is Katz working the side. He's got room, and he's got rope. 3-0. Princeton really starting to stretch the defense of Maryland. I wouldn't be surprised if they stop it here to regroup. But it's 3-0 now with 5:50 left in the first quarter.
Craig Katz has had a fabulous senior season. 17 goals after only scoring 7 his first 3 years. Just a simple one-on-one move, and there's no help by the Maryland defense. So Maryland was stung earlier by aggressive rotation. This time, no help. Sean Keenan left hanging out there to dry. Nothing really he could do about that Katz shot.
3 goals in 1 minute and 8 seconds. Princeton has really started to rattle this team, and here comes Mitchell. Kramer won the last one. Mitchell wins this. They've got 4 in a row. Haggerty's got to solve them somehow. That time it wasn't even Haggerty on the faceoff.
Last year's championship game, one of the main reasons Princeton won was their faceoffs. In that game, Kramer won 7 out of 8. Princeton has won over 65% of the faceoffs in NCAA games over the past 2 seasons.
They tried Pasqualino on that faceoff, giving Haggerty a break, trying something different. Pasqualino not any more successful than Haggerty, but Haggerty has been the guy that they need. Look at the 3 goals in 1 minute 40. This Princeton team, and again, time of possession, they are absolutely burning out this defense.
And they keep their defense and their goaltender fresh. Right now, the Princeton defense can just sit there, relax, keep their legs fresh.
This is the formula that Maryland used to beat Virginia. With the great offense Virginia has, Maryland had possession time about 3-1. They need to get the ball back. Dangerous to pressure, though, as Laney goes out on Hess. They really can stretch out the numbers. They have such great accurate passes from long distance.
They don't make any blatant errors on offense either. They're not going to give you the cheap turnover. They're going to make you play solid defense, and they're going to really make you earn the ball back either with a good save or an excellent stick check.
Eichelberger comes in, finds Ogier. Ogier's got a little bit of space. Up top, Lawrence Smith behind the back. He had a good left-handed shot, and he wraps it behind the back.
Out of his range for that shot. That's not a bad shot from about 5 or 6 yards, but he was at 10 or 12 yards.
And what Princeton will do constantly is back
Coach Tierney not happy about that shot. That's not Princeton lacrosse right there.
They'll have a few words about that when he gets back. Here comes Massey looking for help out front. Gets it up to Eichelberger, but steps in the crease. Now Maryland gets a chance to try to get a little bit of possession time. They've got to take some minutes. Ball coming up on Maryland. Here's Todd Evans, the All-American in the midfield. He's got a great shot there. He's getting double team, triple team. They've got to give it up. Maryland is getting beaten by the slides of Princeton. Here comes Princeton. Full run, struck, backdoor Hess, and it's all over on that finishing shot. They make it look so easy. Evans didn't give it up. They triple team him. It's all over.
Phenomenal feed by Ben Strutt, finding Massey all alone. Keenan trying to settle down his defense. Evans got triple team. That started the play, and Massey finished it off. Coach Adele might consider taking a timeout. There it is. Watch the triple team. Ben Strutt picks it up. He has got wheels. He will spot Massey down below. Just poor transition defense by Maryland there. You've got to stay on those players down low, rotate up with Strutt, and Coach Adele has taken a timeout.
Timeout called by Maryland. They've got to regroup. It's a 20-second timeout. 4-0, Princeton leads, and I saw Edel go up to the referee, say, look, we're going to call one. He waited just before the face-off to really give his team time to settle down. And I noticed on the face-off, if he comes back with the same people, Quint, he's putting Shirk out there, number 37, trying to find the magic, giving Haggerty a little bit of a break. They've got to break this run of face-off dominance.
Shirk's a freshman, actually. His father was Gary Shirk, who played tight end for the New York Giants. Good-looking athlete. But they might even put a long stick up there eventually.
We'll take a short break and come back to Bird in a moment. Princeton, the defending champions, leading 4-0.
I am a professional athlete. I was an All-American in college, but you wouldn't know because I didn't play basketball. I was the leading scorer in America, but you wouldn't know because I'm not on any cereal box. That's okay. I don't play to be famous. Play because it's the greatest sport in the world. By the way, my name's Roy. Nice to meet you.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back,
Chili, baby back red.
I want my baby
Chili, baby back red.
barbecue sauce. I want my baby back,
Chili, baby back red.
I want my baby
Chili, baby back red.
barbecue sauce. I got my baby back.
Chili's grills like no place else.
4-0, Princeton leads over Maryland at Byrd Stadium. After our great championship matchup here, don't forget ESPN's Major League Baseball Memorial Day doubleheader. You'll find the Orioles, one of the hottest teams in baseball, taking on the defending champion New York Yankees. Then the Indians take on the White Sox. Watch Albert Bell take on his old team. There'll be some fireworks there, all coming on our great Memorial Day doubleheader on ESPN. That'll be right after this Division I championship. Princeton really going off it, and they're taking big time off the offensive end. Look at the time of possession.
Really a 2-to-1 ratio right there. Maryland has not been able to handle the Princeton rotation. Their midfielders have got to draw that double team and then move it to an open man.
Mitchell again dominating, this time against Shirk. Maryland has sent 3 different players out there, and they haven't gotten a face-off yet. This is Buttles coming down against the defense. He's got room. He's got a shot. He's got rope. Maryland absolutely confused on defense. The big hitting defense, afraid to slide, afraid to lose their man, and Princeton taking it right to the net.
Buttles, not known for his speed, but he put a burst of energy there and blew by Osberg off his faceoff. You'll see Mitchell gooses the ball, and here's Buttles. Osberg comes over to play him, and Buttles just puts it in an extra gear right there and flies right by him. No help, or the help is there, but it's late, and Princeton is up 5-0, 2 goals in 14 seconds.
Kramer comes on now. Haggerty back out. Haggerty will get his first faceoff. If he can collect it, he can't get it. So great hustle and technique by Haggerty, but he just couldn't get the ball in his stick, and Princeton gets it back again. They've dominated the game so far. 3:38 left in the first quarter. 5-0 Princeton leads. They really need some time on offense, Quint, and then somebody's got to step up to get them back in the game.
Yeah, one of the Maryland seniors got to step up on the defensive end. LaChapelle.
They give you so many troubles, the offense for Princeton does, and the matchups are so hard. Princeton is facing a team that likes to hit. As you look at the Maryland team, they like to come at you hard, but if you leave anybody on Princeton, they will find the open man.
And the worst situation is to fall behind to this Princeton team because they can just eat the clock, play solid offense,
Hess
really dictate the tempo of the game.
This is Lame. You look at Hess. He takes it all over the field. This is the far side. Pressure by Groves. Coming in. Near side off the pipe. He gets the iron on the bounce. And it comes back out. Look, 2 Princeton players getting it back into possession. Craig Katz brings it in. You know, defensively, Quint, they are really a little bit confused now. They are losing a little confidence, afraid to be as aggressive as they'd like to be, Maryland is.
This midfield unit for Princeton.
And a shot by Katz after the foul puts in goal number 6. The unseeded Terrapins are reeling. The defending champions owning the game 6-0. We've got 2:40 left, still in the first quarter.
Craig Katz, second goal of the afternoon. That midfield unit did not play well in the semifinals against Duke. They look excellent today. They're moving the ball well, finding each other, and finishing their shot. There's Katz. He got slashed in the head. You'll see it right here. That's going to be a 1-minute foul right there. And Katz beats Keenan. Keenan looked sharp over the first 7 minutes. He has not made a save in the last 5.
If they would have had any kind of possession time on the other end of the field, Keenan was off to a great start. But the pressure was continual. It was in his face. 6-0 in face-offs. Haggerty got the last one, but just could not get the possession. It's going to be in his lap. I think they've settled on that. 26 is out there, this time against Kramer. And if they're going to control face-offs, it's got to be number 26. Haggerty pushes it out, can't get it again, he can't get the scoop. Finally loops it up, and who gets it? You know it's going to be Princeton.
Haggerty had it, but there were just too many white bodies there. Maryland has got to flow to that ball. They've got to be a blue-collar team in order to win this game. And on that last ground ball, Princeton, they were the hustlers.
Both of the last 2 face-offs, the jitters, they had the ground ball. He just couldn't pick it up. A little bit of nerve, still controlling the game for Maryland.
I think
hasn't been in the championship in a long time.
He's expecting pressure. He's expecting pressure. It wasn't there. You've got to scoop that ball, have some confidence, use your wheels, and step out of trouble.
Massey to Hess, below, again front. Easy shot to go into a zone. What do we have?
And there's the extra man right there. Off the face-off, Maryland, if you remember, they had the slash on Katz. Eichelberger takes the feed in front. It's all Princeton right now, 7-0.
We're a little behind that play. Extra man from Princeton just chewing up the defense for Maryland, who is meeting right now 7-0.
Here it is, Ozier in front to Eichelberger. When your extra man defense is on the field, you want to give the other team the outside shot. Give your goaltender a chance. But Eichelberger finds the seam inside. A lot of Maryland players just standing around watching the action in front of Keenan.
They need somebody to step up, but they need the ball first. Almost got it there. Cairns can't pick it up. Ball loose. Here comes Hahn. He can't get it. Cairns does, and Beckett Wolf will bring it up. Beckett Wolf, the leader of the defensive unit. A great story. And timeout called for Princeton. A 20-second timeout for possession. They were in trouble. They haven't really been in trouble on that end of the field much, and it's the first time they get in trouble, they call a timeout. Look at the shots, the dominance by the Tigers.
Complete domination right there. 16-2 in shots. Pat Cairns has only had to make one save. The other shot went wide. Keenan, from start to finish in the first quarter, had just been bombarded by constant pressure. Maryland, you knew in the semifinals they went toe-to-toe with Syracuse, 18-17. You wondered about their legs. Obviously, that game took something out of the Maryland team that we see right now.
Well, I think they're just really nervous right now. You know, they started off great with big saves. They just couldn't hold it in the offensive end. The success for this team has been holding it in the offensive end. Uphill climb for the unseeded team. This will be the first time in history the things that they would have to do. No unseeded team has won the title. No unseeded team has beaten the 1, 2, and 3 seeds. They've already beaten 2 and 3. And no unseeded team has gone 4-0 in the same tournament. They would make history in all 3 categories if Dickie Dell's team can overcome this 7-goal deficit. They've really dug a hole for themselves. And Quint, really, the confidence we saw on the offensive end of the field for Maryland has not shown at all yet today.
Constant pressure by Princeton hasn't let them settle into their half-field offense.
And there's the cannon by Hubbard. That's the location we were looking for in the first shot. This guy is so lethal with that shot when he gets a little bit of time and room. He had it there. Keenan being a little bit bombarded at this point in the game, 8-0.
That's one that Keenan thinks that he should have had, but spectacular placement, and the velocity is there. Hubbard up in the 90s, just time and room. You cannot give him that shot. You've got to step out, get in his face, get your stick in the numbers. Keenan beat on the near side. Hubbard, one of the all-time greats at Princeton.
8-0 the score. We're still in the first quarter. The only good thing about this, Quint, is there's a lot of time left. They've got to get the ball back. 8-0 on the face-offs, and a push call will give it to Maryland. Mitchell himself has gotten 6 of the face-offs he's attempted, all 6.
And we've seen a lot of versatility by the Princeton offense, 7 different goal scorers, and Massey only has 1.
Now we'll see if the attack can step up. A lot of the leadership on this team comes from this end of the field. We've got guys like Hildgartner down there. Whipple-Hahn combination has been lethal all year, and that's Todd Evans, number 9, with the ball.
Let's see how quickly Princeton will double team to support their teammates up top.
The key down here, Quint, what they haven't been doing the first couple possessions a long time ago was moving the ball. They were holding, and Princeton will eat you up if you hold the ball. You've got to make the 3 passes to get any kind of shot.
And you can't turn your back on the middle of the field. As soon as you turn your back, they come flying out on the double team.
This is Hilgardner, ex-attackman, leader on the team, one of the co-captains working up front. Evans, the All-American, going one-on-one against the long stick. Evans had a great game to get him here. Looking for help with Hodgstadt. Really getting ragged by Christian Cook from Denver, Colorado. Crowd liking the possession time, and Raiden now with a swift tick matchup. Hilgardner off the wing. Raiden takes it off of Karen's chest. Good block by Karen's. Not great location on the shot, but at least they put some pressure on him.
Karen's is going to make you make an accurate shot. He's a position goaltender.
Fast break the other way, check from behind. Good hustle by Frank Raiden, and the ball stays in bounds and goes out finally off of Hubbard's foot.
Hubbard tried for the fancy pickup there, slipped, and the ball rolled out of bounds. He should have just stopped the ball.
Tried to pull it back.
Regain his balance. Yeah, regain his balance. You know, again, he probably thought there was a Maryland player right behind him.
Well, we got 5 seconds on the clock. You probably want to redirect that thing very quickly. Only 5 seconds left in the first quarter. A quarter owned by Princeton, who has scored as many goals as most teams have scored against them the whole year. Princeton owns quarter number 1. They lead 8-0. Maryland will try to get this thing turned around. This is Division I Championship Lacrosse from Byrd Stadium. ESPN's coverage will continue in just a moment.
Go for the gold. The new Rebel G. Get the ultimate.
We'll take you back to 1992. This was Princeton's first trip to the playoffs, and it was a great one in overtime, Quint.
Actually, this was a double overtime. Andy Moe wins the face-off and takes it in coast to coast. No one picks him up. He lets it go off the pipe, beating Saran of Syracuse. And Princeton had their first national championship. That was the 5th year. Coach Tierney only took them 5 years to get the title.
They won 92, 94, 96. They're the returning champion in this game and threaten to be one of the few teams that have gone back-to-back with these championships. Maryland gets the face-off, and that is a welcome relief for them. Haggerty gets it, and they will get some possession time. Teams have switched ends as we begin the second quarter. Lee Felsbo, Quint Kesnick, ESPN's coverage of Division I Championship Lacrosse. 2 straight face-offs won by Maryland, and that couldn't come at a better time. They really held Princeton scoreless for the first half of that first quarter, Quint, and then Princeton scored 1 goal a minute for the final 7.5 minutes.
Maryland has got to own the ball, keep it out of their defensive end. Right now, Princeton's offense is just on fire.
Zeller works it up top to Hanna. They've got some big guns in there. Hilgardner behind to Whipple. This is their quarterback, the distributor of that offense. He gets the big checks there by Harrington. Whipple still looking. Hilgardner can't pick it up. The check. Maybe put the ball down on the ground, and here comes Hubbard. Push call. They'll go back to Maryland.
Bonanni got in front of Hubbard, felt the pressure, and really just fell down. It's a good play right there. You'll get that call. Some sloppy passing by Maryland.
Hanna can't believe it. He came down, was looking to get it over to Zeller, and just misses him. Take a look at these numbers in the first quarter.
Complete domination by Princeton. Shots 17-3, not even close. Ground balls 19-8, and that's an area really that you thought Maryland could compete with this Princeton squad because of their athleticism, because of their speed. They haven't shown the tenacity and the blue-collar work ethic that Coach Adele prides that program.
When this team wins, they win with a lot of heart. Dickie Adele prides his team of having a lot of heart, and they haven't shown it yet. They've been a little bit tight about being in this championship game. This team has to let loose and just start knocking some people down. Here goes Lamey on Hess behind. You notice that in the face-offs with Haggerty not picking up the clean ground ball. It's a team effort on Princeton's side, and they've been there so many times before. Princeton just trying to repeat history. Maryland trying to make it. Mentally, that's tough. Hubbard in close, left-handed shot takes away the angle, and they back it up. It'll still be Princeton ball. Early second quarter action.
Terrific quickness by Hubbard there. Sometimes he's a big, strong type guy, and he can kind of lull you to sleep, but we saw a little burst of speed there. Quick first step. He changed hands and shot the ball wide, so Princeton will get to reset.
There's the quick guy, Massey, as he brought it in, but he got the good defensive check. Now Maryland looking a little more comfortable on the defensive end, and that helps the offensive end. They get more confidence as their defensive guys start making some nice checks. Whipple sets up the D again. Harrington riding him. Harrington, normally a long stick midi, has been matched up here with Whipple, probably because of his speed. They get it out to Evans, and now he works the other side. Zeller, the freshman, inside, pop stick, takes it off of Cairns. Evans. Whipple. Takes the bounce shot. Whipple gets first blood for Maryland. Nice possession for Maryland, and he bounces that well in front of the crease. It went right up in the corner. The low shot brought Cairns to his knees. The bounce put the ball right in the corner. 8-1 Princeton, but Maryland finally gets on the board.
Whipple's a heady player, known for his assists, but that's goal number 24 on the season. Beautiful bounce shot. This ball will accelerate and just ping the corner. Watch it. This will be a great angle right here. Boom, right top shelf. Cairns was on it. A little late with the stick. First goal, always the toughest. They've broken the ice. Let's see if they can follow up now here with a face-off. But again, a better possession. They seem a little more loose. Hockstead had a quality shot against Cairns. They got the rebound, and then Whipple scored.
And you think back to the game that Princeton played against Duke, Quint. They had a big lead, 6-1 against Duke early on, and then Duke got comfortable and really held them to a game that they owned late in the game. So Princeton sort of flattened out in the Duke game. Maryland hopes they can repeat that scenario here. And they get the face-off. The crowd getting behind the Terrapins. This is a great day to play. The heat will be no factor. Whipple now back in charge against Harrington.
The crowd has, but the pro-Maryland fans have been taken out thus far.
Braden on the far side. Strutt matching up against him. They get it up top, and Evans waits well on top of the offense. Whipple got Braden up top, or Evans rather. Double team, now he's got to get rid of it. There's Evans on the far side. One more pass, and they would have had a good shot, and they can't make it work. Princeton challenges you to make the 3-4 passes. You've got to do it to really burn them.
You've got to handle pressure, make the right decision, and it's all going to be done within a 2 or 3 second span. That's why Princeton has led the nation in goals against for the past 3 or 4 seasons. This team doesn't give up very many goals.
Princeton out shooting Maryland 17-3 in the first quarter. Braden works behind. This is Whipple on the wing. They've got some shooters in there. Pasqualina off to the wing to Evans. Evans will take one there, but a good save. A nice block right to the stick side on Cairns. Not much movement required by him.
We're going to have a moving pick against Princeton. A little interference. But Pat Cairns looking pretty solid in the nets. Raiden a little out of his range. He can cannon from about 8 to 10 yards. I think that one came from about 12.
Raiden now moves it in. Princeton doubles, pushes it back past Pasqualina. Looking for the right-handed shot, coming in close. Now he'll work it behind. Great check from Princeton's Leckenheimer. And Maryland now getting a little more aggressive on the ground balls. And they maintain possession. This is more like the Maryland team that we saw in the 2 games previous. Pasqualina can't get it. Ball still on the ground. Big hit by Hockstead. Still loose. Evans comes up with it. They've got to get it in the box within 10 seconds. And a foul called against Beckett Wolf, number 22. Could be a trip. It will be a trip with 10 minutes left in the second period. Maryland has scored the last goal, 8-1. Take a look. He was running out of time to get it in the offensive zone.
He was, and Evans was really focused on holding on to that ball and making that play himself. Really got lucky that he got fouled there. He was under a lot of pressure. 3 Princeton players on him. Someone had to be open. Maryland's got to do a better job communicating with one another, calling for the ball.
They've got to move it. We know that against this Princeton D. The extra man for Maryland, 0 for 1 today. Princeton 1 for 1, and again, that's one of the problem areas for Maryland. They were 1 for 7 against a Syracuse defense that's not as blue chip as in years past.
Their percentage on the season is about 27%. Princeton's is about 34%.
The only guy to score was this guy, number 4, Rule, against Syracuse.
Rule and Hannah. Far side, 35. They're the shooters.
There's Hahn. He's the great finisher. He will go down in the history of Maryland as one of the great finishers for this lacrosse program. He gets the second goal of the day, 8-2. They're crawling back into it, much the same as Duke did against this Princeton team.
Hahn is only a junior. That's his 100th career goal. 36 as a freshman, 33 last year. Now he's got 31. Watch the good ball movement. Hahn finds the seam of that zone defense and beats Cairns between the wickets. 5-hole shot. Hahn is so cool and calm inside. He catches, fires it right away.
Extra man goal for Maryland, which is rare for them, and that really has to help their emotions. Princeton comes right back and gets possession on the faceoff. Look at the defense of Maryland getting more aggressive. Hubbard takes it behind. 6-2 in faceoffs. 9-2. 9 out of 11. Princeton has won. Matchup here, Jason Carrier into the game against Hubbard. So a little bit of personnel shift on the Maryland side.
Yeah, Bonanni is not in the lineup right now. Carrier matched up against Hubbard.
Bonanni, one of the co-captains as an underclassman, the first in Dickie Dell's lacrosse history. And I don't think he's a guy that will keep off the field very long.
No, he's missed a lot of ball games this year with a broken fibula. But he's certainly the vocal leader of this defense.
So Maryland switching things around. Watch up top. Katz takes a shot, and Katz gets, I think, his third goal. He's got a hat trick. He only had 16 goals on the season, and he gets a hat trick here in the first half of the championship game. That'll make it 9-2, breaking the 2-goal run of Maryland. Keenan looking for help.
And he is feeling it. Craig Katz, third goal. Sensational location. Time and room. He plants his right foot and fires to the far corner. 3 shots, 3 goals for Craig Katz. What a better day to step up and start pinging some corners.
Here's a kid who's having a career day right here in the championship game. Haggerty, 26, in there with Mitchell. Hess has been the feeder on the last 2 goals. Once to Hubbard, once to Katz for Princeton. So he's doing his job. Haggerty coming up now. He's stepping up in the defense, or in the face-off department. Really a prayer of a pass, but Whipple comes up with it.
Yeah, fine pickup by Whipple. When Haggerty wins the face-offs, Princeton, they're very aggressive. They're trying to shut off the adjacent men and pressure Haggerty. They question his ability to handle that long stick pressure.
He gave it up quickly, and Whipple saved him by pulling that one down.
Whipple did bail him out there.
This is Zeller. Zeller had a little bit of room there and elected just to calm things down. Mitchell's still on the field, the short stick face-off guy for Princeton. See if they take that advantage of that matchup. They feel they have something there. Buttles is a seasoned defender, but this is where they might have something to work on.
They should clear some space for Zeller. He's got a nice right-handed sweep.
There's Zeller against Mitchell. Up top again. Oh, big check. Puts it back on the ground. They couldn't get it through. Trying to find Hahn, and Hockstead comes up with a big ground ball. Phil Gardner. He'll drop it down low. Whipple looks immediately to the far side. Open there is Zeller. He cans it. When you go far side on Princeton, that's where you'll find an open man.
That's the formula exactly. Hilgartner steps in, makes the defense commit, gets it behind the Whipple, and right away he banged it backside. That's where the Princeton defense is without numbers. They focus so strongly on ball side attention. Whipple lofts that over the defense. Zeller's got some time to catch it, step up, look at the cage, and he finishes. Zeller had a big game in the semis. It's a kid who's broke his foot. He's a redshirt freshman. He was one of the outstanding high school players. Broke his foot in his freshman season at Maryland.
Made it to the 19 team. Did not play because
exactly.
of the
They
injury.
redshirted him, and now he's a redshirt freshman.
He's a big-time shooter. Came into the program a little heavy about a year ago, and Dickie Dell put him on a diet. Kid's ready to run now and had 3 goals against Syracuse. He could be an impact player today. 9-3 the score. Princeton leads by 6, but it's been Maryland who has scored 3 of the last 4 goals. Under 7 minutes to go in the second quarter and plenty of time left. Again, the formula Princeton-Duke was that Duke got behind 6-1 early, stayed tough, got back in their game, and made it a tough game at the end. And that's what Maryland wants to do. Plenty of time left. Eichelberger looking for the left-handed shot, but Miller rides him out. Keep your eye on number 19 in the red. He's got tremendous speed. If he can get the ball, you might see a transition happen from this end of the field. Princeton, though, looking to make things stay here for a long time. Ozier, the guard from the basketball team, does double duty, and what a great asset on this team. Eichelberger, Lawrence Smith. Now Eichelberger gets a double pick. Takes the left-handed shot, no angle. Here goes Keenan. They're looking for Miller. Can't find him. Reese up ahead. And Keenan will come out with the clear.
Nice save by Keenan. Maryland's got to run on those save situations. Duke had some success in transition.
A little bit of room here as Rule comes in. Gets it back to Whipple. Fifth save for Keenan. He had a lot early. I think he had 3 in the first 2 minutes. The defense looking more comfortable for Maryland. And, of course, they're going to have to do that. Stay in this game. Reese staying on the offensive end of the field. Shot! Just missed by Hahn. Hahn had it, and he just couldn't put it on 36 square feet.
And he caught Cairns guessing. Pat Cairns went down on that one. Hahn popped it to the top shelf, far corner. He had him beat, but he missed the iron.
Beckett Wolf considered their best one-on-one guy here against Hochstead, the sophomore. Maryland now working back up to Hillgardner, the leader. Ex-attacking, working from the midfield. He's got a double team. He's got to move it. Whipple can't collect it, and that is the problem against Princeton. They'll make the 3 passes we've said it before, but that'll be the challenge for Maryland today. Fast break. Here comes Strutt. Looking for help in the middle, but Maryland clogs up the middle of the field very nicely. And they make him settle down with Hess, the quarterback. Under 5 minutes in this second quarter. 9-3. Princeton up by 6, but the good news for Maryland is in this quarter they have scored 3 of the 4 goals.
And they're playing with more life, more confidence, starting to throw their bodies around a little, which I think they have to do.
Here comes Princeton in close. Cats again! He's got 4 goals! No!
Princeton on the substitution. They're going to be called for an offsides or too many men on the field right there.
Yeah, a lot of times they make it look like they have too many men. That time they did.
You wondered why so many guys were open up
top. A lot of white jerseys up there.
They had 4 midfielders.
That can give you a little bit of an advantage. No goal for Katz, who really feels good about shooting. That kid doesn't want to waste any time. He gets it in his stick, he just launches it. 4:15 left in the half. Whipple from behind. Got Hillgardner out front. Hillgardner here. Waits for people to come on. They don't have the full complement. Only 4 players now. 5, 6 are all on now. Marcus LaChapelle. Dave LaChapelle's younger brother, number 29 on there with Rule. This is a unit that doesn't have a lot of minutes in big games. But they kept Hillgardner on this unit to give him the experience of the senior. And double team, backside, and again they can't make the pass. Last 2 times down, the double has come, and they have not made the pass.
That's a tough pass through a lot of sticks in the middle of the field. It's about a 20-yard pass. A better idea might be to kick it to the top of the box, and then 1 more pass down low. It's a lot easier play. You make 2 12-yard passes a lot easier than 1 25-yard pass through traffic.
Or let your young guys like Rule work the backside and give it to Hillgardner, the senior. Let him carry it in that midfield line. Open net, 10-man ride. Not even close. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be Maryland ball with 3:30 left. 10-man ride. The goalie comes out, takes a man on the defense. They put a little pressure on. Princeton recognized it right away and tried to shoot from 80 yards away.
Maryland trying to pick the tempo of this game up. They need an athletic contest. Coach Adele right there with a good strategy. That 10-man look. That's effective. Beckett Wolf is not going to hit that shot from 60 yards.
And he wasn't even close. Osberg now brings the ball down, and he has a matchup here against Princeton. Grooms. Whipple now will control from behind. Evans is parked up top waiting for a shot. Whipple really being active against Harrington. Here comes the slide. In close, they couldn't make the pass again. Hochstead made the move. And we've got a penalty procedure call against Princeton with possession, technical foul, and looks like they'll get 30 seconds of extra man from Maryland. They scored on their last opportunity. It was Hong who netted 1. They're down by 6. They'd love to get it here. They're 1 for 2 overall.
Coach Tierney,
I don't think he agrees with the call.
Maryland 1 for 2 on their extra man. They've matched up Harrington of Princeton on Whipple. I think that's a quickness situation, and they're bumping Christian Cook up top to cover guys like Radin and Evans, and it has been successful. Evans and Radin have not got on the board.
Whistle stops play before they put it in. Keeping him on the field was the actual call against Princeton.
It's the second time that's happened, yeah. There are an awful lot of substitutions in college lacrosse right now. That box area on the far side, a lot of traffic going in and out. Coach Tierney not happy.
Leading his case.
And he has really toned it down. Back in '92.
He's a human hand grenade back then.
He went ballistic in that game against Syracuse. And it really has done a good job maintaining his composure.
And the team pretty much reflects that composure. They know how to play tough in the close games. Their record reflects that. Hockstead up top to Evans. They're looking at him a 1-4-1 with Whipple behind. A look to the crease. Whipple looks backside now. Have a chance there. Evans with a crank. If he makes one-man move, he does, and he bounces it too close to him. It was bounced outside the crease, went right over on this hard turf.
You got to shoot for net. Evans just pounding that ball into the ground.
Bearing that shot. They maintain possession. Penalty up now as Princeton sends down Buttles.
Princeton dodged a big bullet right there.
Evans puts that on for velocity, and I'll tell you what, that would have been tough to save. 9-3 to score, 2:40 left. Oh, almost a shot in close. Whipple hammering it. It'll go to Princeton. They backed up the shot. Good job on the backside by Luckenheimer. Maryland had a great opportunity there to get within 5 goals.
Whipple, little scrapper inside.
Let me make a prediction. Maryland won't see the ball on the offensive end the rest of this half. This team from Princeton can really hold it. They held it the last 4 minutes against Duke to secure that win. I don't think they'll want to give it back until halftime. 2 minutes left. Hubbard takes control. Making me look wrong because he came right in against 4 defenders. They'll give it back to Maryland if they can get the loose ball.
John Miller just pummeling Jesse Hubbard when he was on the ground. No foul, but it's going to be an interference.
Totally unnecessary.
Interference call, totally unnecessary. The ball was out front.
When you wanted that ball, you wanted a fast break, you wanted offense.
Not the time or place for that type of play right there.
But Hubbard took it right to the net. Liked his matchup as you see Uckelberger working up front to Lawrence Smith. Lawrence Smith gets hammered by Hanna on the wing. Hess, Massey comes in. Massey can shoot from there, and he gets a goal from his knees. Keenan can't believe it. He was a little bit taken by the shot from the knees. He was a little bit off time on that save. 2 for Massey, 10-3, and look at the swing from one end of the field where they almost had one. Princeton makes you pay for it. They have a 7-goal lead. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half.
From his knees, Massey, it was a change-up shot, and it wasn't going that fast. It kind of took a funny hop back to Keenan's left. Keenan will take a little step to his right and then comes back. Can't get it with his stick. A lot of times you expect the shooter to come in and fire it. And when they took a slow shot like that, it's like a change-up pitch in baseball, you're caught off balance. And you can see Keenan did not have good balance there.
It was hard to read where that shot was going, or was he going to feed? Massey has shown us a lot of acrobatic ability. Hess with 3 assists on the last 3 goals for the Princeton Tigers. They get the face-off and control it in their end. They lead by 7. Huge lead in the championship game. ESPN's presentation of Division I Championship Lacrosse. Leif Elsmo, Quinn Kesnick, and getting near halftime. Princeton off to a huge lead, but Maryland has done well in the second quarter. They lead that one 3-2, but Princeton making it tough to make up ground. Massey again, and Keenan gets a block on it. Massey's got a lot of weapons, Quinn. He makes it tough on the D.
If you could pick an attack, the combination that Princeton possesses is so dangerous. You got Hess, who can pass, you got Hubbard, who can finish, and Massey can do a little of it all. It's a really unique combination of those 3 skills, and it works perfectly.
And LaChapelle, the #1 guy for Maryland, playing against Massey. That's how much they think of him. Keenan comes out, big block by Bonanni on Hubbard, who's back in the game. Bonanni playing number 27. LaChapelle being very careful as he brings it up to Lamey. Lamey, no help, looking for help. Can't get help, and the ball out of bounds. Timeout called by Maryland just in time for possession. 32 seconds left. They're down by 7, and they want to get one more notch before halftime. Defensive sticks so imposing. You see a lot of timeouts used these days by the coaches to maintain possession at critical times. Exactly what Dickie Dell did right there.
Princeton with some tough forechecking, some tough riding there. Maryland, against Syracuse, had a lot of confidence in the defensive end. They were moving the ball up the field, getting into their transition game. They have not scored a transition goal yet. I think they're going to need to generate those transition opportunities from faceoffs and from some saves from their goaltender in order to get back into this ball game, because we've seen a Princeton defense that's very tight in front of that goaltender, Pat Cairns.
You talked about how tough it was to come from behind against Princeton because they can possess the ball for long periods of time. They don't make mistakes, and they make you make great plays to score. All those things combined make it a pretty tough order to make up those 7 goals. What Maryland's thinking about is the Duke game, where Duke overcame a 6-1 deficit, really got back into what they did best.
And in the quarterfinals, Princeton took a 9-4 lead into halftime against UMass, and the final score of that game was 11-9. So they held Princeton to 2 goals in the second half. UMass did, and they kind of chipped away at that lead, and they brought it within 2 goals. So this game, far from over right here. This is a gritty Maryland ball club.
A lot of heart. That's what Dickie Dell likes. That's what this team has. But they'll need all of it to come back into this game. They're 7 goals down right now. A lot of time left. We're down to 15 seconds. There's the clock in the half. Oxted getting it down low. They've got to get a shot. Trying to go far side. Evans. Time not on their side. They better hurry. Evans is going to have to let it go. Oxted will. Takes the shot high and wide. That'll be the last shot of the first half. So Princeton dominates with the experience of a defending champion against this man, Keenan and company at Maryland. They'll have to regroup, come out, and slug it out for the second half. They're down by 7 to the defending champion Tigers. Tough order for the Maryland Terrapins. Quint, this team will turn it around if they can just get back to the physical kind of style. And of course, they've got to have a big game out of Keenan. Edel and the coaching staff meets before they go to the break. And right now, we're going to talk to Coach Bill Tierney, who's on the sideline. And Coach Tierney, we want to just ask you about this game. Has gone so well for you. Obviously, you don't look like you feel comfortable. You're probably worried about this Maryland team coming back much like Duke did.
We really are, Leaf. This game's nowhere near over. We got to go out and play the first 10 minutes of the third quarter like we played in the first quarter.
Your aggressive defense causing a lot of problems for those Maryland midfielders, Coach.
Well, you know, if we're a tough team to prepare for in a day, Quint, and we just feel like if we slide, keep it moving, even if they get 1 or 2, which they will, they got to work to get them.
All right, congratulations on that first half of action, and good luck in the second half, Bill Tierney.
Thank you.
Bill Tierney knows how to win the big games. They've won 3 championships, all in overtime. They'll be tough to beat, but Maryland will give it a shot. We'll come back with a halftime from College Park in just a moment. A great crowd at College Park looking at the Tigers dominating the unseeded Maryland Terrapins. This is not over by a long stretch. The gritty Terrapins regrouping after Princeton really got off to a sensational start. This team from Princeton has been there so many times. Welcome back, Leif Ellsman along with Quinn Kesnick. And that is really the inexperience of working against you. Maryland did a couple things differently. They stayed in the locker room. They tried to get their team ready, not knowing quite how to do it in a championship game. Princeton did what they normally do.
They came out on fire. They did in the semifinals, took a 6-1 lead over Duke, and today they went up 8-0 in the first quarter. Complete domination by the Tigers.
Let's take a look at the highlights of that first quarter action. It was all Princeton early, and they came at Keenan very hard.
They did. The first 7 minutes, we didn't have a goal, and then it was Hess, unassisted from behind. Laney had some problems on the wet turf behind. Hess took advantage. Then Jason Ozier with the feed inside to Lauren Smith. Here he is, the left-hander, beating Keenan near side. They scored these first 3 goals in 1:40. Craig Katz here with the third to make it 3-0. Katz has got a hat trick already, and we're only at halftime.
So this offense for Princeton can come at you, as we mentioned, from so many different places. And again, this is just something they're trying to redo. They have been in the tough situations. They know how to prepare, and they have the full arsenal of weapons on the offensive end.
Yeah, they do. They're getting it around. A lot of different scores. Katz leading them with 3 goals. But the defensive pressure on the Maryland midfielders, that's been the key. Maryland really has not had many good looks at the cage.
All right, we'll take a short break and come back with more of our halftime. Princeton leads by 7, but the Terrapins looking to continue the miracle from College Park. You're looking at a great crowd at College Park. They are filling in to see the best of Division I lacrosse. Our ESPN coverage of the championships, the NCAA Division I Lacrosse Championships. And again, all the records, the top 5 crowds, all from College Park. This venue is absolutely fantastic. The Princeton band here to lead on the defending champion Princeton Tigers. They won in 92, 94, 96, all overtime games. This one, not as close as Edel would like it, and that is what they're working on in the locker room right now. Lee Felsbo and Quinn Kesnick. Again, Maryland has some work to do in the old locker room.
Yeah, they've got to start playing better defense, and Keenan's got to make some saves. They did a better job on faceoffs in the second quarter. Those two teams split after Princeton really controlled the tempo with the faceoffs in the first quarter.
Princeton has some interesting folks, a lot of stars on there. Jason Ogier, we've talked about. He plays guard on the basketball team, also a star here on basketball, or on the lacrosse team, rather. We talked to him earlier about what's it like to be the underdog in basketball, or is it better to be the favored on the lacrosse team?
I think it's easier to be the underdog because there's a little bit less pressure after you go in there. Everyone's kind of rooting for you. You know, if you win, it's great. You're the big story. If not, they forget about it in a day. Lacrosse-wise, if we were to come in here and lose to Duke, we kind of remember that, I think, a little bit longer. So I think it's definitely tougher to be, the #1 seed. But at the same time, we're all here. We've worked very hard, and that's what we're looking forward to. So we don't mind being the #1 seed. We want to keep this going, win tomorrow, win Monday, and enjoy it.
So Jason Ogier, our true man that knows how to take a lot of pressure, and he will be key if Maryland can fight back and make this a big physical game. He's got great size.
He's got great size. This year, actually, he played in an Ivy League basketball game on a Friday night against Cornell. The next day, he went out and played Hopkins in lacrosse. As you know, Princeton made the NCAA tournament in basketball as they lost to California. So this is his second NCAA tournament of the year.
We'll take another short break here, and when we do, we'll show you some highlights from the last time Maryland was here. It was 1995 against Syracuse. They were matched up against the great Syracuse offense, and Maryland had their hands full then. They had beaten Hopkins in a big semifinal, and they took on the great Syracuse offense. This was 1995.
And they played well in the first quarter, but the key second quarter stretch for Syracuse just prior to halftime, 3 Syracuse goals. Nick Liccamelli right there in a 45-second span really decided that game.
Really getting the home field fans here behind them. They have a long road to come back. Take a look at the numbers in the first half. It was dominated by Princeton in the first quarter, but the second quarter was good for Maryland.
Yeah, the second quarter was even, but Princeton really controlled the first quarter, outshooting Princeton 25-11 in the first half. Ground balls, fairly close face-offs. Princeton, again, we talked about that earlier. They have dominated 11-4. Time of possession, about even.
We've got a moment now to go down on the field to Coach Dick Edel of the Maryland Terrapins, and I imagine it was a tough halftime. Coach Edel, your team really didn't look comfortable in the first quarter. Second quarter, much more Maryland Terrapin lacrosse.
Yeah, we dug ourselves a pretty terrible hole. But I tell you what, I look up now and there's 30 minutes left on the clock, and this team has never quit on us before, and they won't quit now. We're going to war, and you'll see anything and everything we got left in our arsenal in the next 30 minutes.
Coach, what should we keep our eye on? Where will we see some changes?
Well, I'll tell you what, we have got to sell out completely in a face-off situation. We've got to get all 3 kids, the 2 wings involved to help Brian and our other face-off specialists. We're going to 10-man ride. We're going to force the issue on
ground balls are key. Maryland has always done well there. Good luck to you, Coach Edel, and the Maryland Terrapins as you try to come back up that long ladder against the defending champions. When we come back, we'll pick up the second half action from Bird Stadium in College Park. Stay with us. NCAA Championship Lacrosse coming up. The end continues our presentation of the best in Division I lacrosse. The NCAA Division I Championships from College Park, Maryland. A great crowd here with the weather that continues to get better. The defending champion Princeton Tigers enjoying a 7-goal lead, 10-3. It was the Tigers owning the first quarter, and the Terrapins really making it a lot tougher in the second. But 7 goals, a lot to make up, Quinn Kesnick, against the defending champs.
It is, and it's going to start on the defensive end of the field with Sean Keenan and the defense. That's a look at Ben Strutt. That's Ben Strutt warming up before the second half. He had a nice assist early. He's one of the midfielders, one of the defensive midfield specialists. He's done such a fine job. Look at the win streak of the current Princeton team. They've won 27 in a row. Syracuse in the late 80s with Gary and Paul Gate won 29 in a row. And Cornell in the late 70s with Mike French winning 42.
So that winning streak on the line. The last team to beat this Princeton Tiger team was the UVA squad. And They have really put on a show today.
And Princeton's won 4 one-goal games this season, and their last 3 national titles have all been overtime. So this is a team, they've been tested along the way. It hasn't been easy, and there's certainly no arrogance in this Princeton program. They love to win, and they fear losing.
You saw Patrick Cairns, you saw Keenan in the goal, same 2 goalies starting. Haggerty, number 26, facing off against Mitchell. Haggerty has to come up big. He does. He goes right back to Keenan. They're going to put pressure on him, as Quint mentioned. He goes back to the defensive end. Face-off now 11-5 in favor of Princeton, but Maryland has equalized that. Evans now with possession. They've really got to make these possessions count. They can take some time off the clock, but they've got to end up with something in the net. Big pressure put on by Christian Cook on Evans. That's the wrinkle that Tierney threw at him. He took Cook, put him behind, from behind onto Evans out front. This is Radin, Frank Radin, working against a short stick of Katz. That's Derek Katz.
Craig's twin brother. They're both from Long Island. Twins. Derek really more of a face-off type wing player and a defensive player, where we've seen Craig score 3 goals today.
A lot of cuts on the backside as Whipple brings it in. The big checks there at Harrington. Whipple looking constantly to the crease, gets a little motion there. Up top is Ray. He's got a rocket. He takes it, but right in the stick. Poor location against Cairns, and here goes a potential fast break. Mitchell still on the field, and he brings it down. This is where Kramer helps. Mitchell rockets one, and Shorty got a piece of it.
Tierney on the sideline, not happy with that shot. No backup. Mitchell showing some skill that we really didn't think he had. He really is not a goal scorer, but that was a fine move. Coach Tierney not happy. They want to possess the ball. Cairns with a big save right there.
Well, it was a nice...
You've got to take a solid shot to score on him. He's not flamboyant, he's not flashy, but he makes the ones he has to.
And the problem with that shot, Quint, was they put it right in his stick. It was stick side, belt high. He didn't have to move at all.
Poor location.
Bill Gardner now, the senior leader, co-captain, number 42, brings it out to the side, and this is Hahn, the finisher. He'll initiate on this side against Lunkenheimer. Just for a moment, though, as Hannah picks it up over to Zeller. Zeller's the good-looking, strong young kid, number 10. Hockstead comes in, the big check from the crease, and they're in the crease. It'll be a free clear opportunity for the Princeton Tigers. Here they go. Butters looking to the middle. Cairns comes up, can't get that one, but they still collect the ball. Lunkenheimer. And Buttles comes over to help his own calls, getting it into the offensive zone. 10 seconds from when you get it across midfield to get into the offense. Buttles might get it up front. He does. Massey, backdoor, Eichelberger. They'll take some time with this. They know that the clock is on their side. If they really take time on their possessions, they'll make it very tough for Maryland to have a big impact.
And that is one thing that this Princeton offense knows how to do, and that is possess the ball, work it around the perimeter, force the defense to come out, and then capitalize.
Eichelberger gets doubled, and that's some of the aggression that Dickie Dell talked about when they called him up top. I think they got him in the face mask. Yep, that's the call. So Dickie Dell is getting the hustle, he's getting the double teams, but this is the byproduct sometimes that you don't want.
You can't argue that call. Got him clearly in the face mask. Both coaches on the sideline. Coach Adell stressing, play with heart this half. Play with some enthusiasm. Let's make some plays.
And let it go. There's nothing to lose. You're down by 7. Let's put this thing on the field and not go out thinking we didn't give it our best.
Maryland now facing a Princeton EMO squad, extra man squad, that has scored 1 goal in 1 opportunity. It was a layup goal earlier. Eichelberger took the feed from Ozier behind.
Eichelberger now gets it back to Hess. Far side is Massey, and that's Lawrence Smith up to Hubbard. Hubbard's got the great right hand. Look how quickly they move it around. This offensive team moves it as well as anybody in Division I lacrosse. So tough to catch up with that rotation. And just like that on the backside, another penalty. They're going to get LaChapelle after the goal, the far side by Hess. Quint, they move the ball so crisply, it's impossible to rotate fast enough.
It's like a shooting gallery. Hubbard to Hess. Hess does not shoot much. When he does, he scores. He's got a quick release. Here it is. Smith to Hubbard, down low to Hess. The defense rotates. LaChapelle doesn't get there, and then draws the unsportsmanlike penalty. Ozier, Smith, Hubbard. Tremendous ball movement. Look at the accuracy of those passes. I mean, the ball is right up at the sticks. No time is wasted trying to catch an errant feed. It's just bing, bing, bing. Terrific precision.
2 goals for Hess and 2 extra man goals. 2 for 2 for the Princeton Tigers. They'll have another shot at it right here off of the LaChapelle hit. That also takes LaChapelle out of your man-down unit. And coming in for him is Jason Carrier, number 48. They start that 2-3-1 again with Hess behind. Massey's far side, and that's Smith to Hubbard. The exact same rotation that started the last extra man play. Let's see if they throw a new wrinkle into this one. Up top, trying to get it to Hubbard. He bounces it down to Massey. Smith on the far side's wide open. Ogier back to Hess. This is Eichelberger, and you're getting a little bit of a rotation up top as Smith comes to the crease. Good job by Maryland so far. Hubbard takes a rocket, and Keenan read it beautifully. Good luck by Shorty. Braden's in trouble. Now this is Miller, the speedster, number 19, who puts it back inside. Good move by him. Lamey off to the side to Carrier. Trouble for Whipple. He's double teamed. He's getting hit from behind. He comes out of it somehow. Up front, back inside. On! Can't finish. Unbelievable. Cairns just picked his pocket.
Cairns has done a terrific job on the shots from in close this afternoon. He holds his ground. He's a big target, and he managed to get some part of his body on that. Whipple sliced through the double team. Reese to Hahn, but a serious save by Pat Cairns.
He has looked sensational. Timeout called by Princeton to maintain the possession. They lead by 8 goals. They'll have the ball when we come back to the third quarter from College Park.
Soothe athlete's foot. Desinex does it.
Princeton with an 8-goal lead over Maryland. This team looks as powerful as any team that has won championships, and 3 have in the 90s. John Hess talks about the difference in the personality of this team against the others.
I think this is a lot different than last year's team. We had a very good team last year. Kind of very loose last year. This year, we're kind of going through and coasting through things a little bit more. I think our experience is playing a little more part this year than last year. Last year, we had a couple real big senior leaders, in Jeff McBean and Donnie McDonough and Pandra Gutstein. And this year, I think it's kind of like the whole team understands their roles this year, and we don't really need as many leaders. So I think it's a little different that way.
So John Hess talking about his team. Meanwhile, big aggressive check by Reese. Ripped it out of the stick of Josh Sims, but the ball will go back to Princeton. Over the head check, the kind of aggressive defensive check that Coach Dickie Dell was talking about.
LaChapelle right there, number 6 for Maryland. We've seen Princeton's experience. It's been very evident, especially in the first quarter when they jumped up 8-0.
And they make it tough in all facets of the game. They're riding hard, making it tough for Maryland to clear, so Maryland doesn't get any easy possessions. Hubbard goes behind. Bonatti comes out to give him some pressure. All 3 of these super junior players are really problems for any defense. Together, they're a minefield. Hess takes it behind, and he gets worked by Lamey.
Solid defense by Bonatti against Hubbard.
And Lamey turns back Hess. Massey now gets his shot at LaChapelle. LaChapelle loses position, but he gets the good stick check from behind, and Massey pulls it back up. Ball was right there at the crease. Now open goal behind. Comes up front, and an easy shot by Josh Sims. The ball rolled behind. Keenan was on it, and it left an open net. They couldn't get possession.
LaChapelle, he made a terrific check, but Massey, the magician with his stick, just took the head of his stick. The ball popped right back into his stick. Maryland was caught out of position because of that loose ball, and the Tigers capitalized. Here it is. You'll see the ball's loose. Massey spins out of trouble behind the Hess, and Sims is left open in front. Princeton had the numbers game in front of the cage because of the Maryland defense, thinking that they had the ball on the ground, but Massey really made that play with the really nifty pickup of the loose ball.
Josh Sims makes this a 12-3 game, a 9-goal lead, and look at the pressure put on by Princeton as they drive it down the field. In the last 5 Princeton goals, Hess has 1 goal and 4 assists. Certainly establishing himself as the leader we know he is. He's the quarterback, the glue. The ball goes through Hess on most possessions.
And Josh Sims in the right place at the right time, a freshman. 7 goals on the season. Actually scored the game winner against Hopkins opening day this year. Hopkins and Princeton played to overtime, and Sims, the freshman, was there to finish it for the Tigers.
Maryland now will try to get their offense going. Rule brings it up. Big offensive check by Princeton. They don't waste any time putting pressure on Christian Cook, working him over. Not giving him a chance to get comfortable. Bill Rule really getting ragged in the double team and coming over. Ball still loose. Cairns way out of the goal. Whipple. Whipple hits him. No flag. He was well off the ball when he got hit. But the ball goes up to Princeton. No call on that one. Radin trying to keep it back. Radin with the check. It'll be a problem, but Radin puts it back on the ground. Here comes Hubbard. Still got it, and Keenan is forced to make a great save. A lot of magic in the sticks of the attack for Princeton.
Oh, they can handle. And Hubbard spinning. Just let that one rip. He's got such quick wrists. You see, he scooped it up with his hands, turned, and just let it go. Most of his power on a shot comes from his legs and his hands. He really turns his wrist well.
Jason Carrier late coming onto the field to pick up Hubbard. As Lammy takes on. Oh, the ball down. Lammy gets the loose ball after Hess just fell down.
Yeah, Hess lost his edge over there in the corner. Rained all night. 4 inches of rain fell. This field was covered with a tarp. Hess must have caught just a little wet spot.
Miller, great speed. Puts a lot of pressure on Eichelberger. He might want to run him a little bit. Eichelberger, so critical of a player in that first midfield unit for Princeton. Open in front. Maryland trying to apply pressure. Osberg gets it up to Hillgardner. Hillgardner just touches in the offensive zone. You've got 10 seconds from outside to get it in, but that was not a problem there. Former start on the attack. Pushed out by Hogstead, but still a critical element to the success of Maryland. Zeller. Whipple backdoor. Hahn can't reach high enough. Whipple put it up a little bit too high for Hahn to pull it down. Hannah, a big shooter too. A lot of guns on the field for Maryland right now.
That's the right idea for Maryland. Get a reaction out of the defense and then move it to your open teammate, and it's going to take more than one pass. That was Zeller to Whipple to Hahn. That's what it's going to take right there. 2 or 3 good passes.
A lot of pressure put on by Princeton. They do not let you sit on the ball. And again, they make you work that ball 2, 3, 4 passes. That's a finishing shot by Hahn, but Cairns playing sensationally. That ball, though, right in the middle of the goalie. They're not really having great success with location around the perimeter like they have in the other 2 games we watched in Maryland. Hillgardner, rocket. He's got rope. 12-4. It's an 8-goal lead. Hillgardner just spotted the corner, and Cairns had no chance.
Amazing location. Hillgardner, time and room. Hannah to Hillgardner, steps up, looks at the cage, looks at the cage, looks at the cage, and lets it rip. Top shelf. This will be a great angle. Watch the placement of this shot. Time and room. This is ugly if you're a goaltender. You're just sitting there waiting for the guy to uncork it. And Hillgardner pings the opposite corner.
Stopped the 3-0 Princeton run. 8-goal lead for Princeton with 6:20 left in the third quarter. Lee Felsmo, Quinn Kesnick, ESPN's production of this NCAA Division I Lacrosse Championship. Just a great day to watch any kind of sporting events. It's close to 70 degrees, not humid. Nice little overcast day to keep the crowd from getting too scorched. And here is Hillgardner again. He's back on the field. Far side, watch out, because that's Osberg looking for some room. Cook pushes him back, and here's Zeller again. He's out putting the big shooters on the field as much as he can. Zeller gets hammered by Derek Katz. Whipple behind, asking for it. If they need him, they always have Whipple back there to hold it for a while. They want to be shooters. Zeller trying to duck inside, can't get it. Look at Beckett Wolf, comes out, catches the face mask. They'll get a free shot. Beckett Wolf came out, was a little bit high with the check. Hahn has a chance. The Hillgardner back into the middle. Huckstead right down the middle. 5-0, I think, caught the pipe.
Either caught the pipe or caught the foot of Pat Cairns. Maryland looking a lot more comfortable with their settled offense. We've got a slash call. Here's the save or the pipe. Let's take a look. Hogstead makes the save, a little kick save. As I said earlier, Hogstead and Pat Cairns, former high school teammates, going head-to-head. Hogstead the younger player. His father played at Maryland, and there's Pat Cairns. Last year in the title game was lifted in the third quarter for senior Poncho Gutstein. I know Pat wants this very much. Really, that title game last year, he didn't play particularly well in the second half. He could put his mark on this championship team.
A rocket shot by Hochstead is the second goal in a row for Maryland. Now a 7-goal game, 12-5. That'll give you some confidence right away. Not being shy as you look at Tierney. Hochstead says, yes, sir, baby.
Crowd's getting back into it. That was the key for Princeton. They took the crowd out of the game, but you hear them now. They're getting back. They're getting revved up. Maryland on a 2-goal run. Hochstead, same location as the Hillgartner shot. Time and room. The sophomore can let it rip, and he does.
Haggerty in there to face off again. Missed the draw. He had to actually push it out to his side and missed the scoop. Couldn't get it cleanly, but this one he does. It's Raiden picking it up, going back to Whipple. They'll try to push the action down behind. Harrington dragging Whipple. Locking him up as they change people at midfield. Hillgartner comes out to settle down the midfield. He is such a settling force, Hillgartner is. He runs in almost all the units to give them that experience of a senior. Pasqualina trying to go against 3. You cannot do that against both teams and never against Princeton. Rush back, it'll be a race to the fine. Here comes Keenan. Keenan comes out to help out. It's going to be an open net. Keenan made a mistake. It'll be a slam dunk for Hubbard. Keenan can't believe it. Once he went out there, you've got to knock the ball out of bounds or get it. You can't stand out there and look at the ball when you're 30 yards away as a goalie.
Keenan came out of the cage, and he went face to face with Hess. He should have either taken the body or taken the ball. He did neither, and Hess picks it up. Watch it. Keenan's there first. It looks like he wants to go for the hit, but LaChapelle takes the body, and Hess is left to take the ball. Hubbard on the near side, just a dip and dunk. Doesn't get any easier for Hubbard. Keenan got to be upset.
13-5 to score, 8-goal lead, and that was a gimme. They just had some momentum building for themselves, and a mistake by the young guy Keenan. Here's Hochstead, who's anxious to get another shot off. They've got Cairns a little bit unsettled. They put a couple on net and scored 2 straight before the mistake by Keenan gave Hubbard the goal.
It's assist number 5 for John Hess, the playmaker.
John Hess just stayed totally focused, picks up that loose ball. Right side by Hahn. Couldn't get it, and then couldn't feed 2 men behind. Look at the defense of Princeton.
Acrobatic save by Pat Cairns. This team's still going at it on the near side. Hochstead, Strutt. Take a look at the save. Hillgartner across the front of the cage to Hahn. Serious save right there. Lunging, his body was beat, but he got the hands across his body.
Cairns has looked good when he's had a chance. He's a guy who really, as you've mentioned, wants respect. He's got a tremendous, the winningest goal in the last 3 years, but doesn't get credit for it because of the great team defense.
36-3, yet no one really gives him the respect. It's unbelievable. A lot, very similar to Matt Palin. When Palin played at Syracuse, a lot of people said, yeah, it's the Syracuse offense. But Matty Palin proved that he's a quality goalie. He's got the wins. That's all that counts.
Palin had to put up bigger numbers, I think, than Cairns did. Palin was always making blocks. Cairns doesn't get as many shots against because of the defense, but he certainly has made big stops today. Look at the defense of Princeton, and Maryland answering back with 2 guys on the ball. Lamy wraps up the far side, but here comes Massey. LaChapelle out of position. It's a 6-on-6 matchup. The best against the best for Maryland and Princeton.
This Princeton attack can be in so many ways. They can pass, they can dodge. We've seen excellent ground ball play from them throughout the course of this game. Remember earlier, Hubbard made a big play from midfield line that led to a goal. Hess made that last play in the corner. Massey made a play on the near side on a loose ball, showing a lot of versatility.
2:30 left in the third period. 13-5 the score. Princeton ahead, making it very tough for Maryland to climb back in. Near side push by Lawrence Smith, and he just barrels his way in. What a load he is. Lawrence 6'5".
He's a talent, one of the highest recruited players out of the Maryland area. Last year as a freshman, big year. This year he does it again, and when he does, he makes it look so easy, so smooth. Second goal of the day for Lawrence Smith. Here it is again. He'll isolate on the far side. No help will come from Maryland. Smith, little change of direction, was a great high school quarterback and lets it rip before the help from Maryland. Key there is a quick release. You beat your man, let it fly.
Frank Braden getting pushed aside on the defensive end of that. Haggerty back out there now to take the face-off against Kramer. In our Nike matchup, it's Kramer and Mitchell from Princeton making it tough for Haggerty to do it all by himself. They owned it in the first quarter. 12-7. Princeton leads in face-offs. A lot of that dominance, the difference in those numbers really came in the first quarter. Hess now works the ball behind. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. They've got everything going for them now. The lead, the clock, the experience. Kind of a shock to the crowd at this moment. Josh Sims comes in. He beats Keenan. Lays himself out, and Sims takes the measure of Keenan and puts it right on target. 2 goals for Sims, 15-5, a 10-goal lead.
And Sims is a really good-looking freshman. Coach Tierney, he's stacked. Remember, this is a junior attack. They've got a lot of young players on this team. Sims falling to the turf. Again, one that Keenan might want to save here. Sims, a right-handed player, rolling back to his weak hand, falling from about 12 yards. Second goal for the freshman, Josh Sims.
15-5, you might see Princeton really start taking some air out of it here. Buttles pushing it down. Buttles looks like he wants to go. He doesn't stop at all. They've got a 19-goal rule at Princeton where Tierney just does not score 20 goals on anybody. Too early to tell what they can against Maryland, but they've got the ball again on that face-off. Leading by 10. Maryland faced with a real impossible challenge here of trying to overplay the talented attack here and get the ball back, which really leaves them open. Hubbard on the far side against Bonanni. Hubbard comes in and gets another goal. 16, and Princeton has really done the number on the offensive end. Hubbard with the hat trick. Goal number 40 on the season. Missed the first 3 games of the year with a dislocated shoulder. 6 goals versus UMass in the quarterfinals. 1 against Duke. A relatively poor outing for him in the semifinals, but watch this. Left-handed drive, inside roll, textbook, falling to the ground, low to high. 4 goals again. This is the type of play that Hubbard, I don't think, could have made in his freshman and sophomore seasons. He's really becoming more of a versatile player, putting a lot of pressure on these defenders. Beautiful inside roll. That's a textbook play right there. And Quentin, 4 goals in about 3 minutes for Princeton to just about lock this thing up in the third quarter. 16-5. They lead by 11. This is a shock to the fans here who have watched a lot of 1-goal games. Hess, Massey. Hess takes the shot from Massey and it comes off the pipe. So within seconds, they almost had another goal. They maintain possession. Katz will bring it down. Mitchell will come off. 43 seconds left in the third quarter. Little give and go as Hubbard comes in. Up in front was Hess, but a stick check took it out of his stick and no shot there. Here comes Maryland trying to push it down. Burnham can't collect it. Reese comes on, Burnham goes off, and it'll be Princeton ball.
Princeton, they're getting some fine efforts from some unsung players on that squad. Coach Adele's got to be frustrated. Coach Tierney looked to play some younger players here, late stages of this ball game. You know, they've struggled through 3 national title games. In overtime, they've got 3 wins. Finally, his squad explodes, and they get what looks to be an easier margin to deal with here. It hasn't been easy for this program. I mean, there's been a fine line between winning and losing.
I don't think any other program has won as many close games. Again, all 3 championships in overtime. They have stood the test of confidence, greatness, have been tested in every which way. And this team, undefeated this year, they will end, if they win today, the season undefeated and truly put their mark in the game in the history books. Hubbard wraps it around, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. Time winds down as Princeton just takes over. Hubbard, Smith, Sims, and then Hubbard made 4 in a row in the last 3 minutes to take over the game. 11 down as Maryland looks to the fourth quarter for help.
Time for another thrilling edition of our popular.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back,
Chili, baby back rib.
I want my baby
Chili, baby back rib.
Barbecue sauce.
I want my baby back.
Chili, baby back rib.
I want my baby.
Chili, baby back rib.
Barbecue sauce.
I got my baby back.
25 years of action, 25 years of champions. All the best moments are here on Silver Celebration, the perfect video for every college lacrosse fan. Silver Celebration captures all the greatest memories from the first 25 years of the NCAA Division I Lacrosse Championship. Just $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Call 913-339-1906 for your copy of Silver Celebration.
We're back in College Park with NCAA Division I Lacrosse Championship. This is 1994 when Princeton won their second overtime championship. It was a great one. This is the backside. Kevin Lowe picking up the loose ball against Virginia, and an overtime win for Tierney and Princeton's second championship in Division I lacrosse. Just 3 years ago. Then they won in '96. Last year they are the defending champs this year, and they are in total command of this game. Leif Ellsbone, Quinn Kesenick, with ESPN's production of this game, and I'll tell you what, Quinn, we have seen a lot of close games. This, unfortunately, not one of them.
This tournament has been one of the best tournaments for record. We played 4 quarterfinal games that were decided by a total of 5 goals, and then both of our semifinal matchups went down to the last minute or so, both 1-goal games, and then this. But it's been just a terrific tournament.
And Maryland, of course, has been the giant killer along the way. They beat the number 2 seed, the number 3 seed. They have really expended a lot of energy to get here, and maybe today the emotional bubble just burst.
Yeah, they ran out of gas. Much like in '95 after they beat Hopkins in the semifinal, they ran out of gas against Syracuse.
Hubbard with the rocking, with the defense of LaChapelle just takes that shot. New goalie in there, Kevin Healy. Healy pulls down that ball. Number 25 takes the place of Keenan.
Healy, another freshman.
Look at Hess picking it right out of the air for LaChapelle. Watch out. Massey couldn't pick it up, or else that would have been a lot of pressure on Healy. Backdoor. Healy makes a big block against Hubbard. Good size, Healy is.
6'1", 170. He's from Manhasset, which is on Long Island, the North Shore. A great program, Manhasset High School. And Healy's a freshman. Keenan, the redshirt freshman. Take a look at the numbers. Third quarter stats. Princeton controlling the shots, almost a 2-to-1 advantage. Saves are even, and the face-off domination, 15-8. Here's Healy stuffing Hubbard on the inside. Watch the hands right there. Real quick hands. Good-looking athlete in the nets.
He's made 2 nice saves already in the first minute and a half of the fourth quarter. That's where we are. Fourth quarter with Princeton dominating. They're 16-5 on top of the Maryland Terrapins, the unseeded team, the Giant Killers, who went through the number 2 seed and the number 3 seed to get here. They beat Syracuse. They beat Virginia with ball control and great offense, keeping the pressure off of their defense and their young goalie. Today, Princeton just didn't give them that
tempo of the ball game, and then Maryland was forced to play catch-up, and that really doesn't fit the profile of this Maryland Terrapin squad.
Jason Ozier working the far side against Shirk. He goes backdoor. Eichelberger, and look at this kid in the net. Healy with another big save. Outlet pass, not sharp. He hasn't had very many minutes with this team, but he has looked strong standing up to that pressure.
The book on Healy is you got to shoot low. Coach Tierney yelling at Eichelberger, down, 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 meaning, hey, shoot low on this kid. Healy, though, as Eichelberger shot, really gave him a low look, held his stick low in the nets, kind of baiting Eichelberger to shoot high. As he did, Healy moved his stick up to make that save. Healy also, with a big effort here, could really solidify a starting spot for next season. No pressure on the kid. He's a right-hander. Keenan's a left-hander also. That could be playing with some of these Princeton shooters. They're used to looking at a lefty, and here's Healy, a tall righty.
Grooms now takes the ball behind, working against the defense of Maryland. Osberg goes far side, and again, Healy blocks it. 3 or 4 big saves with only about 2 minutes into this, 3 minutes now into the fourth quarter. Healy has looked sharp.
Grooms is a good player for Princeton. He'll get more action next year. He's really coming into his own. Number 23 for Princeton made that tremendous pass across the face of the cage. But Healy, not only did he make that stop, he caught it. His hand-eye coordination, he's real sharp right now.
He's looked very comfortable, but the clears have not been. He hasn't had a lot of time with his first unit, and the clears, he hasn't been successful in any of the clears. The ball's right back in his face. That one, they're calling a shot, giving back to Princeton. It really didn't look like one, but they'll get the ball back. Hess controls behind against LaChapelle. LaChapelle wants to go with a takeaway check. Massey now. Lamey's the matchup. Big, tall Lamey, 6'5". Can't get the ball from Massey, but the backup check comes from Reese. Reese with a big slide. He'll get hammered. The ride by Massey, and the ball goes right off the out-of-bounds line. It'll go back to Princeton.
And Reese gave Massey a late shot in the back of the ankle there. Reese a little too casual with that scoop. You know, he scoops, he makes the right turn, but he's got to give it up. Watch it. Good sliding defense by Reese right there. He makes the play. Watch the loose ball. He'll scoop that. He's a little too casual with it. And then he gives one Massey. Gives him a little slot to the back of the legs so that ball rolled out of bounds.
Princeton wheeling up front, takes the hard shot there at the feet of Healy. Healy has looked pretty tough in the nets. Ball being pushed out by Hubbard. It'll go to Maryland. 11 minutes left in the game. 11-goal lead for Princeton. Healy, the new goal in the fourth quarter, a bright spot so far, but the ball has been there every minute of the 4 minutes.
Now, they haven't been able to clear the ball, but you got to give Healy some credit. Really no pressure on him right now, but he's enjoying the moment, making some plays.
Let's see if they can get the clear as we look at Keenan on the sideline. Now they'll try to get the ball up to the offensive end. Haven't been successful doing that yet, although Healy's made some great stops. Easy clear now to Hillgardner. Maryland will try to get something untracked. Hillgardner working the offense up front, LaPointe. Down low to the finisher, Hahn. Couldn't beat Cairns. And here goes Strutt. Crowd quiet. He's got some numbers. 4-on-3. Comes down in close. Massey. And he finally beats Healy. What a sweet move for Massey. Cut right across the crease. A penalty on the play. And not only do they get a goal, making it 17-5, but they're going to put more pressure on Maryland.
It's a slash call. That play starts with a nice save by Cairns. Ben Strutt brings it down. We've seen him on the fast break. He's dangerous in transition. Looks down low. That's the second time that he's gotten an assist on a fast break by jamming the ball down low. Beautiful pass right there, past the Maryland defense. Healy close to that, but Massey with the goal.
Massey, 3 goals today is so hard to cover. Was really the critical element of the game against Duke. Duke had the lead. Beautiful backdoor cut by Massey. Put them where they wanted to be in position to win that one, and they did.
He's got a terrific field sense. He finds the seams of the defense. He's very unpredictable. One time, you know, he'll fan to the outside. The next time, he'll cut back door. Sometimes he dodges hard. Other times, he's more of a finesse type player.
Pasqualina was facing off from Maryland, but they could not get the ball. It goes down to the Princeton extra man. It'll be a 6-on-5. 10 minutes left in the game. This is the Division I championship. Lee Belsmo, Quinn Kesnick, watching Princeton just dissect this unseeded Maryland team. Princeton proving to be the greatest program in the 90s. 2 out of 3 in their extra man opportunities. They've made Maryland pay for some of that physical style. Up front, Massey, and it blocks off of LaChapelle's stick. Somebody got a piece of it. Either Lamey or LaChapelle took that one and sent it right out on a right angle. So now a substitution as Reese comes out.
The more you look at this game, the more credit you have to give to that Duke squad, who had this Princeton team on the ropes. They had them 9-7, and really could have made it 10-7.
Backdoor shot by Hess, making it look easy. They move the ball around, just bring it back to the far side. Hess parked on the pipe, and Healy gets beaten for 2 in a row after making about 4 sensational stops. Healy starting the fourth quarter, and it's an 18-5 score.
Watch the backside feed by Hubbard. Can be in so many different ways. Hess parked on the backside, much like hockey. You just sneak up to the side of the cage there, and Hubbard splits the defense. That's 3. 3 goals for John Hess. 5 assists. He's had a spectacular day. He's really been in on almost half of the Princeton goals.
Mitchell in there to face off, this time against Pasqualina. Princeton did a great job getting the advantage on the face-offs early, and that helped them get that early lead. They commanded the face-offs, I think, at the first 7 without any loss. And here is Whipple looking up front. Pasqualina redirects it past Carrion. And Pasqualina just almost batted that one in for the 6th goal for the Terrapins. 9 minutes left. They're back to within 12. Mathematically almost impossible for them to win this one, but here, this is a nice play.
This is a garbage goal, but it's a nice play by Pasqualina. You see this ball, Whipple just kind of blindly puts it behind his head. Pasqualina one-touches that. Nice play. Good hand-eye coordination there, zinging it past Pat Cairns, who almost made that save. 10th goal of the season for Pasqualina, who now will set to take the next face-off.
There have been 2 games in championship play since the format started in 1971 with 20 goals or more. Syracuse in 90. And then it was way back to 1975. It was the Maryland team scoring 20 goals against Navy. Largest margin of victory, 21-9. That was against Loyola in 1990. Syracuse, the great offense they had.
They could really score goals in that season.
You looked at a few, didn't you?
One too many. Especially out on this field in 1989. Paul Gate.
That is one of the greatest games I've watched. I've done 13 of these championships, and I think 89 sticks out in my mind as much as any. What a great game that was. Maryland now forced to really wait to get a good shot, but they need so many goals, they've got to push it to the net. Whipple looking off ball. Harrington just ragging, making it tough to get any kind of shot off. While Point comes in, gives him a breather. That's a nice matchup right there. Seller against Derek Katz, the short stick. They don't take it.
Harrington's a nice looking player. He throws a lot of checks.
He's got one down low. Just whistles the low shot. 7th goal of the game for Hillgartner.
And 2nd for Hillgartner, the senior, going out in style. He's been there for Coach Adele in the past. Big performances in the NCAA tournament and showing a little variation. Remember earlier, he stepped in, and fired it high. This time, beats Cairns low. I'm sure the goaltender probably expected the same identical shot to the top shelf, but he popped it low. Peter Hillgartner, 2nd goal. He's a gritty performer.
Definitely one of the leaders on this team. Ex-attack player, knocked out by some great new additions like Hockstead. Whipple now brings it off the faceoff. Good move there on the faceoffs for Maryland to get possession, but look at the swarming defense of Princeton. They make it so tough to get any kind of continuity on the offensive end. Undefeated season. It looks like it'll stay intact for Princeton. What a year they have following up their championship of last year.
There is not a second to relax when you're on offense against Princeton. You're constantly faced with a barrage of defenders. You've got to make decisions. You've got to make accurate passes. And then when you get some solid goal play from Pat Cairns, it's going to be tough to score. And that's why they've kept the majority of their opponents below 8 goals.
Maryland has been the giant killers in lacrosse. In 95, they beat Hopkins, your alma mater, Quint, to get to this championship game. Lost that year, and they'll lose this year on their home field. But exciting the lacrosse community along the way. This team really plays with heart and has gotten as much out of their team along the way as they possibly could.
Coach Adele, another terrific job this season. His 15th year. This is the 14th time he's been in the NCAA tournament. And a lot of people really looked at this team mid-season and said, hey, Maryland really doesn't have it this year. And yet here they are playing for the national title.
Unseated, watch out in front. Point taking one. Pasqualina then follows up with that shot, and here goes Beckett Wolf. Hillgartner trying to race him down, but Beckett Wolf, who started as an attackman for Princeton, ends up as their #1 defensive player. Gets it back to Massey. Look at Massey glide. He has very deceptive speed. Hess setting up. All 3 of these All-American attackmen come back next year, folks. This team will be tough to beat next year, Quint.
They will be extremely tough to beat. They reload. A lot of crosshairs will be focused on the Princeton Tigers.
Hess up top. This is Massey. Back to Hess. Looking to fire it on Healy. They get it back to Hubbard. In close. And Sims puts one on the knee of Healy. Nice block. Reese just sends it down. There will be a fighting for possession. And Princeton, of course, comes out with a great one.
Nice play by Lunkenheimer.
5:30 left, 18-7. Princeton with the lead in the fourth quarter. Maryland's got a chance. Huxton fires it in, and guessing low is Cairns. Cairns guessed low and was right there to meet it.
That has always been Cairns' best save. You put the ball right at his feet. He's real strong there. He goes down to his hips and makes that save. Key play in the semifinal game was a save against Ed Fay on the same type of shot.
That turned the game around, no question about it, and Princeton went on to get into this game and totally dominate in this championship. 18-7, and Princeton makes it impossible for Maryland to maintain any kind of composure down there. 4:56 left in the game. Loose ball push against Maryland, and here comes Princeton with 4:40 left.
Pat Cairns coming out of the ball game right now. He'll get a big applause from the fans. DeBello.
And they bring it down and go ahead and dent the nets on Healy again, really making it a lopsided score, 19-7. Look at Tierney. He's calling for some numbers.
Hubbard's got 4 to pad his NCAA stats.
Well, we got some new people coming on. A new attack.
That's a serious shot, though. It's a one-touch as he's jumping with a guy in his face.
A lot of pressure as the whole new attack comes in. The All-American attack goes out. And coming onto the field, number 20, John Wynn, 21, Chris Brown, and 25, James McIntyre. That'll be the attack now that'll finish this game with 4:30 left, 19-7. Here comes Haggerty. Looking down to Whipple, who gets hammered from behind by Mitchell. It'll be a penalty and a chance for an extra man and a shot. Whipple comes in, loses the ball, trying to go through the 2 Princeton Tigers. It'll be an extra man play for them. Looking for their 8th goal of the day.
As I was saying, Neil DeBello in the cage now for Princeton. Cairns on the sideline. Massive substitutions by Bill Tierney, who has shown a lot of class this season. He's got that 19-goal rule in really mainly the Ivy League games this year. Many times they were up big late in the third quarter, and he'd really hold the ball out the entire fourth quarter.
Maryland now an extra man play. This is a team that shocked the world by beating the number 2 and number 3 seed, as we've talked about, to get here. They beat Syracuse, they beat Virginia. Really, that plus Princeton, 3 of the best offenses in the game. 3 of the best, no question about it. Couldn't finish off the 3 of them at the backside of the net. That one hits by Whipple. Plays it to the back line. It'll be Maryland off the body of the new goalie, DeBello.
DeBello's brother was a midfielder at Princeton in the early 90s. He was a part of that 91 team, really, that put Princeton on the map. Tierney came in 1988. The program was in a state of disarray. 2 years, they made the playoffs. In 1990, they beat Hopkins. And then 2 years after that, they win the title. And DeBello was one of those early midfielders as Tierney built the program up.
12-goal lead for the Princeton Tigers, the defending champs, who looks like they'll go on. Repeat champions have included Cornell in 77 and 76 the year before. Syracuse, 88 through 90, 3 in a row there. Hopkins, your alma mater, Quint, some great years in the 70s and 80s, and then North Carolina. And now they will add their name to that. Certainly, Princeton, the team of the 90s.
And Princeton, the first undefeated national champion since 1991, when North Carolina, the Tar Heels, went 16-0 that year. That was Coach Klarman's first season. They beat Towson State in the finals up at the Carrier Dome.
There'll be a timeout for Maryland at the moment. 3:24 left. It'll be Princeton winning this one, but they've got 3:24 left before they celebrate. Come back to Byrd Stadium. We'll be back in just a moment. Been sporting the helmet, the old look helmet, 19-7. Princeton leads, a commanding lead for the defending champions. The number 1 seed coming into this tournament, Maryland. What a year they had. Unseeded, knocking off number 2, number 3, and now not being able to pull up the emotions to do it one more time. The Princeton fans knowing they are number 1. The Maryland fans being really thrilled by a great weekend of lacrosse, this being the final day. The weather's great. The Terrapins really gave them all they could today. They just had too much on the plate for Princeton to go up against the number 1 seed and be effective.
And they never got it rolling. Princeton came out after 7 minutes of scoreless lacrosse. They went up 8-0. and really it was over early.
Maryland now trying to get a last shot, a last goal as Princeton puts in some new faces. Rule now has the ball out front. He gets ragged from behind by the defense of Princeton, and ball all over the place as the body starts slamming. Under 3 minutes to go.
At the ball! At the ball!
Referee's not anxious to make the game go any longer than it is. They're going to keep this one rolling. Maryland trying to pick it up. Can't quite do it. It'll be Princeton ball going up.
We've got some substitutes in the game right now who are playing real hard. Guys who are excited to be out there who normally don't get to play in a game of this caliber, and they're throwing their bodies around and certainly hustling to show the coaching staff, hey, I want to play next year.
Midfield, Spencer Bauer out on the field, along with number 25, James McIntyre. He's out there, and 24, Greg Mecca. But the season-long polls will try to bring it up. There's a long pass far side, and now they'll start moving the ball up. This is Mark Whalen, defensive player, who hasn't seen much time here today, but he did in the semifinals. Whaling, number 44. Picked up by the new attack on Princeton. Into Whaling. Whaling's got it. Let's see what they do. Coming in against the settle-down motion. They'll push it back door to Bauer. Offside called on Princeton. They only have 2 players back along with their goalie. They need 4. And Princeton...
We featured them early for a reason.
So tough to stop. They get 10 goals and 9 assists. The 3 All-Americans on defense, on attack rather. All juniors, all coming back next year. Mass, Hess, and Hubbard.
That's a scary thought.
They have had quite a career. And I tell you what, they make it look pretty good. As Bill Tierney will tell you, he is a great coach, but he certainly has surrounded himself with some sensational talent. Give them all the tools from the coaching side that they need. This team is truly championship in every way. Another timeout called with 1:53 left. Why? I don't know. But we're going to take a short break. Looking at Bill Tierney. 12-goal lead for Princeton. Stay with us for our final moments of the championship. We're back to College Park with the Division I Lacrosse Championships. The team of the 90s is here in total command. The Princeton Tigers lead 19-7. Leif Elsmo, Quinn Kesnick, and a great crowd. All the records have been set here at Byrd Stadium, and today has been sensational as far as watching 2 of the best in college lacrosse. 1.5 minutes left as Maryland works it around trying to get a shot. And in the goal is yet another goalie, number 3, Corey Popham.
Corey Popham, sophomore out of the Gilman School. One of the top goalies 2 years ago in the high school ranks in Maryland.
Princeton get a chance to get some experience for these guys, get some championship legs as they move toward their 4th championship in the 90s. They never had a championship before Tierney got there in his 4th year, 92. He locked in the first one, and this team has been tough to beat ever since. Down to 1 minute to play. A 12-goal lead. Maryland trying to get something on Popham.
Their record in the 90s will improve to 92-14. Just an unbelievable number.
Bill Rule tries to go to the backside, trying to get Marcus LaChapelle. 3 LaChapelles playing for this Maryland team. And the Princeton side on their feet, ready to celebrate with Bill Tierney. 45 left. Popham tries to get it, can't do it. LaPointe comes out, looks backside. They want to put some pressure on him. Wheeling on the near side is Salario. LaPointe gets hammered, ball goes out of bounds. Down to 30 seconds in the game. Clock ticking down, and Quint, you really got to think to all the categories that make champions champions, and Princeton just doesn't show you any weaknesses.
Now, they don't make mistakes, so you're going to have to play a near-perfect game to beat them. You're going to have to play an inspired game. You're going to have to shoot the ball well, handle it well, get some great goaltending, and certainly for Maryland today, they didn't have that equation.
Princeton now down will go to the goal. They'll just try to work the ball in the offensive end of the field with some of these young, fresh faces. Chris Brown working behind against the great LaChapelle, Dave LaChapelle, a candidate for Defenseman of the Year, and Dick Udell's had a bunch. Burles in 93. He had a big one in 95.
Dan Radebaugh in 95.
And then he has a potential one right here in 97. Time winding down, and that'll do it. The team of the 90s, the Princeton Tigers, win yet another championship Tierney. And the Tigers locked themselves in the history books of lacrosse, dominating. They started in 1992. It was Andy Moe winning, and they win that overtime game. And then it was 94, Kevin Lowe taking that scorcher in overtime to beat Virginia. Tierney couldn't believe it, but then 96, it was Hubbard to rocket Virginia again. And then 96 was followed up by this year. The Tigers win it all.
Kenny Mayne here in the ESPN Baseball studio.